Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of a special webinar presented by our Region 11 advisor, DTM Victoria Ferrer Mustafa. The title of this webinar is Strengthening Your District Through Club and Membership Growth, and it's being presented by our first VP, DTM Balraj Arunasalam, and we're going to introduce everyone now. And I also will give you some housekeeping rules on how you, as attendees, can interact with our guest and our presenter. I'll just introduce DTM Vicky. She is the 2015-2016 Region 11 advisor and the past District 20 governor for 2013 and 2014. How are you, DTM Vicky?
I am fine. Thank you, DTM Akanke. Thank you so much for accommodating our webinar.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And I am DTM Akanke Abdulkhalik. I'm the District 79 Webinar Manager, and I'm playing the role of a facilitator for this session. Now, as a facilitator, I want to let our attendees know how you can interact on this session. You have a control panel on your screen, and it has a hand icon. You click that hand icon if you want me to open your mic so that you can ask a question or make a comment. I will do that at an appropriate time. We're going to take questions, I think, after DTM Balraj presents his session. Also, if you do not want to speak and have your mic opened, you can type a question in the question window, and there's a question section there. It's pretty straightforward. Just type your question or comment there, and I will read it for you at an appropriate time, or DTM Vicky will read it and get your question answered, inshallah. Okay, so now we also have something called polling. We're going to do some polling. So at certain points during this session, you may see a poll pop up on your screen, and you'll have about 10-15 seconds to respond to the poll when you see it, and then we'll close it and share the results with everyone. And if you all would just do me a favor and test your capacity to ask questions and raise your hand. If you could just type a question in the question box or just say hello, I'm here, or anything, just to make sure that you are hearing me and you know how to do this and you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? I'll give it a few seconds for someone to type something in the window there. Yes, great. Thank you, Toastmaster Himmet. Okay, great. Awesome. So, DTM Vicky, I am going to turn it over to you to introduce our wonderful guest. And then DTM Balraj, do you have a presentation that we're going to switch over to once you've been introduced? Well, let me just give it to Vicky. Vicky, you go ahead, and then we'll figure that out when we get to that point. DTM Vicky, it's all yours.
Thank you. DTM Akanke, good evening to the members and leaders of Region 11. This webinar will be very useful to us in our last golden 100 days. I call it the golden 100 days. And of course, we will be having valuable knowledge for the coming term of 2016 and 2017. We want to be motivated and inspired by a leader who has accomplished a lot during his term. In spite of his busy schedule, he accepted to speak to us about his experience and success story. First Vice President Balraj Arunasalam is the founder and chief executive of GEM Strands Engineering Company, a maker of industrial belts. He also serves as the president of the Iyapan Temple Management Board and as vice president of the Arunadu Vilalar Society of Sri Lanka. He also belongs to the local Chamber of Commerce and Rotary Club. And as we can see, he has so much influence in his country. He's a dedicated Toastmasters for 25 years. Balraj Arunasalam is a member of 3 clubs, including the Colombo Toastmasters Club. According to him, Toastmasters is a way of life. It helped me understand the philosophy of leadership, to give and receive, respect, and to be humble. In 2011, first Vice President Balraj helped establish an English course titled Rural Voices Unlimited, a project designed to educate youth in rural Sri Lanka. His work earned him an award from the U.S. Embassy in Colombo. First Vice President Balraj Arunasalam had a track record as a district governor in 2008 to 2009. District 82, under his leadership, received the President's Distinguished District Award as, guess what? #1 in the world. It also received the President's Extension Award for Outstanding Achievement in Club Extension and Retention. And not only that, He also received the 2008 to 2009 and the President's 20 Plus Award. I met DTM Balraj when he ran for the International Director position in 2011. Tonight, we will hear from him on how he positioned District 82 as the top district during his term. After the talk, there will be a 15-minute question and answer session, and you may write down your questions on the message space, and first Vice President Balraj will address them. Fellow Toastmasters, leaders, and members, let us all welcome First Vice President Balraj Arunasalam. Let's give him a virtual round of applause. Over to you, First Vice President Balraj Arunasalam.
Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. And thank you, Vicky, and thank you for organizing this webinar. It's an honor to speak to the regions or region officers or district officers in Region 11 on the subject of strengthening your district through club and membership growth. I would like to share some insights on how to strengthen your district through club and membership growth. Now, it's not a rocket science, you already know it. I will only refresh some memories I have when I was serving as a district officer, and also kindle you to some reflections that you may have had in your Toastmasters journey, and which will help you to strengthen your clubs and then districts. One thing we are aware, and we must be aware, is that everything happens at the club. So district needs to strengthen clubs, and clubs need to strengthen districts in turn, so that we can truly get everything out of Toastmasters from the structure that is available through district service and serve the members through club service. I don't want to confuse you between the distinct difference between strengthening your district versus strengthening your clubs. To me, it is one and the same. If you strengthen your clubs, your district will automatically strengthen itself. And if you strengthen your district, that means it is a measure that your clubs are in good standing and in good shape. So I will throw some light into how to strengthen your clubs and how districts could help clubs to strengthen. There are some, as I visit districts in my role as an international officer, I'm convinced and I'm more and more aware of how districts can shape up when they have difficulties, but Region 11 is not a region which has difficulties. And Region 11 has only successful districts in its region. Nevertheless, let us look at some salient points in order to serve our members. It might be the case that some of you may be gaining a lot of members and at the same time losing a lot of members. And let us see how to see the hole in the bucket, and so that retention becomes an habit and retention does not bother you in looking for members. One of my sincere piece of advice is that clubs and districts spend 80% of your time to strengthen serving your clubs. Since the subject covers both district, I will keep it to district. I would urge all the district officers of all the districts in Region 11 to spend 80% of their time serving existing clubs and members. And only 20% of your time in the growth model or towards growth. Now, this might actually shock you a little. Why is First Vice President telling us only to spend 20% of our time in growth? And district wants growth, international wants growth. And all our measures are on our growth. How we grow determines whether we are distinguished or not. And here is Vice President saying that spend 80% of your time in looking after the existing clubs and members. My take on that is that we spend far too much of time to attract new members and new clubs. And every year, when we have come to this 100-day or golden 100-day countdown, we are more worried about the clubs that we are going to lose than actually serving the existing clubs and members. If we do look after the existing clubs and the members, chances are that you will have very high retention rate. One of the models to look at in the world is District 76, Japan. Sometimes their retention rates are above 80%. I studied in depth of what their successors were. One, they did not have any corporate clubs at that time when I was doing this research and study. And they were very firm in serving existing members. And that was their secret behind. So evolving over time and with my experience and looking at models that will work, I'm now convinced that it is important to look after our existing clubs and existing members, and then attract new members and new clubs for the right reason. Now, if you take me personally, I still sometimes get involved in recommending companies and communities to start clubs in my home country, as I am unable to escape from community and the society in general. They still keep coming to me. However much you try and explain to them that there is district structure in place, they will definitely serve you, but you still have to give a hearing. So I do hear, listen to them, and then hand them over to district officers. So I advise all the district officers to lay out a stringent rules and regulations to start a club in a company or a community, because that is why I said that we will start the club for the right reason and not for the mere reason being the distinguished district program. To me, that is secondary. Distinguished district program should be a byproduct of our good service to clubs and districts. And our new clubs, attracting new clubs should be again a byproduct, because they look at us so seriously in terms of personal development and growth. I was just 3 hours ago, I was seated at a function where Lions organized a speech contest for Leos. And I had the opportunity of meeting the past international president, Mahendra Amarasuri of Lions. And he said their retention rates are below 50%. We as Toastmasters should be very happy that we are to 60 or more percent, 60%, close to 60% in our retention rate. And this has happened over the years. Otherwise, we also were was in the range of about 52. Now we are touching close to 60. So that is my take on that. Now, what can we do to strengthen your clubs? And what can you do to strengthen your district? Now, district officers, I needless to say that you are very focused in the Distinguished District Program, which has three major objects, main goals and objectives. Right. So that's Distinguished Club Program, membership growth and club growth. The three main objectives. Now, ultimately, Toastmasters program is a selfish program. It is a program that we call it, although we call it selfless service in terms of leadership, we call it selfish in terms of personal growth and development. What do our members really want? What do they really lack? Now, this may be unique to each and every district. Some districts may be doing well in some areas in contrary to the others. So it is important to understand what your members in your district want and in your clubs need. If they want corporate skills, if your club structure is 80% or a very high percentage of corporate clubs versus community clubs, and most of your clubs want corporate skills. I, for one, look at skills that they really are looking for and run workshops in this required skills and get the members to come for it and have a very interactive session so that when they leave the workshop, they feel that their Toastmasters membership is rewarding and fulfilling. And that's the key to me. We have 4 contest seasons, or rather 4 contests in 2 seasons. And all of us want to be successful. It's because when we are in leadership, at that moment in time, we cannot contest, but otherwise, even leaders want to contest once they relinquish their contest, because this has been very obvious and seen even with past international presidents in speech contest finals or semi-finals in recent years. I'm sure you were party to witnessing some of those semi-finals in the recent past at the convention. So,
DTM Balraj, excuse me for interrupting you. This is DTM Akanke.
Yeah.
Are you showing a presentation on your side? Is there anything that I should switch over for you, or you don't need me to switch over to your screen?
No, I don't need to. You don't need to.
Okay.
They can stop and take note.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Thank you so much.
And so, to me, workshops is a magic that retains our members. Workshops actually strengthens your faculty strength inside your districts. And so running my recommendation to you is that you can run international speech contest workshops, humorously speaking workshops, table topics workshop, and evaluation workshops. There are very many ways that you can run this workshop. I recommend that you design your own and then run it, but you can also send me a mail, and we can work together when I really find the time, and I promise you that I'll find the time, or otherwise I'll put you on to someone who will share some insight and agendas and so on with these workshops. And so districts can organize those workshops and open it out at various levels for members to come into that and learn from it, because that way they will feel connected to the big picture called a district. Otherwise, members sometimes do not know what district officers do. And so that's one area of focus. Running workshops will strengthen your clubs and attract new clubs because they also see value. And running corporate skills-based workshop, what do I mean by that? If you have a specialist in negotiation skills within the fraternity or among your friends, just get the right people, absolutely the right people to run those workshops, called skills such as conflict resolution, negotiation skills. I even ran a workshop with my team for memory skills. And you will not believe the attendance that we had. Sometimes we doubt our own memories, and then we had in that memory skill workshop close to 1,000 people, or a little more, 1,008 to be specific. This was way back when I was a district governor. All those energy that flows and permeate through the district is what helped at that time for the District 82, which I led to become #1 in the world. Now, it did not only become #1 because of my efforts. It became #1 because of a team effort continuously in progress. We were #1 for 4 years in a row, including a time that the world had to face calamity in 2008, 9, 10, worst years in economic downturn times. But we had the best years at that time. It is only because of these programs that we run outside the normal activity that the district officers have. So that's another key element to for a district to be successful, because it's serving its clubs and members. Now, all of us have an officer called District Relationships Manager. Now, District Relationships Manager's role is to, or rather, Public Relationship Manager, or earlier it was called Public Relations Officer. So, Public Relations Office Manager's role is to always look outside the fraternity and see how we could publicize or let people know why we exist and what do we do, and some success stories to be shared in any media that is possible: print, electronic, social, magazines, journals, notice boards, supermarket placards, anywhere for that matter. Now, whenever I have visited districts, I see this role, and not that I'm blaming, it is also an important part of it, but I see this role as a district relationship role. Now, running newsletter competitions or website competitions, club website competitions, all of them actually add energy and vitality into existing clubs. But it is very important to let people know in the society, and only that attract members into existing clubs. So if we really want to grow membership, we need to let the community know that we exist and break that, cliche of saying that Toastmasters is the best kept secret. And this is true, because even when I went for the board meeting in February, when I got into the cab in Los Angeles to get to Orange County, on the way when I was chatting up, he said he's from Orange County, who had barely heard about Toastmasters. So we still have this challenge. So it is universal. So to work with the media, what can we do? And how can this evolve? Now, my recommendation, of course, is to run a media night. A media night. Invite all the possible media personnel in your local areas, including to club meetings, because they're looking for success stories. They're looking for experiences. If someone gets elected as a district governor of a district, let them know, let the community know that there is an election which took place and these are new people who got elected. Someone goes to the semifinals, or your district champion goes to the semifinals, just talk about it. Our district finalist is reaching Washington, D.C. to speak among the first 100 speakers of the world. And they're looking for stories like that. I have recommended, and some districts have already adapted. We run a media night every January 31st to thank the media for what it has done the previous year and look forward to their support in the ensuing year. Now, when we originally started this media night business, we invited 50 from the media, 7 or 8 showed up. But over the years, now more than 50 show up at this event because Toastmasters is a household name in my home country, Sri Lanka. We appear at least 50 or more times in the print and electronic media, and apart from the social media. So this is another secret that I would like to share with you, because if we don't talk about ourselves, if we don't let people know that we exist and why we exist, that is why we suffer attracting new members into existing clubs. So growth comes from all those small activities we do, because every small step, every small action has an impending big result that we desire and deserve. So this is another area of focus that I would like to leave with you. Coming to club activities, see what you can do to get clubs together on not at a conference, or not in a conference time, not at contest time, but on a time that is in when the district is doing, don't have any schedules to meet or targets to meet, or close to payment cycles, due cycles, but a time, find a window and see what group activities that you can run at club level, not division or area, or for that matter, there is nothing but just a club activity, but put together. District will run this because we run a quiz competition here in Sri Lanka. We have close to 100 clubs, or more than 100 clubs now. We were one club, as much as most of you. We were one club in 2002. We're more than 100 clubs now. And we ran a quiz competition, and last year 64 clubs took part in the quiz competition. And we have district level quiz competition club winner. So that's another activity which draws a huge number of members. So by doing all these things, your members see value. And another golden nugget is the Speechcraft program. I don't needless to say that it is a gold mine inside our program. Speechcraft, by helping people grow, by sharing our learned skills, we immensely grow in the journey. And then we add not only value in ourselves, but we add value to those members who contribute in Speechcraft and fast track their learning curve. by getting members involved in speechcraft on a 10-week structured program, they get continuous learning for 10 weeks, which will happen otherwise or might not happen in their one full year journey as a Toastmasters Club member. Here they get exposed to a 10-week structured course and fast track their learning. Any new member who comes into the club, even if they play a role as a timer or a coordinator according to their skill levels, some accounting, they still will learn from all those keynote presentations and feature presentations. And then all those, we run an annual speechcraft faculty pool or resource pool workshop to keep enabling more and more people to contribute to this course, because that improves club growth. It's a gospel truth that I'm instrumental in purchasing more than 1,500 speechcraft manuals from the Toastmasters International warehouse annually, even today, because we train more than 1,500 corporate executives every year, year after year for the last, how many years, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years. We have trained more than 10,000 corporate executives. And all this has been done by members of clubs. And whether we are a district officer or an international officer, we belong to a club. And we, on behalf of a club, we contribute a little contribution of our time. Will help clubs strengthen itself and help new members learn and fast track their learning curve for which they joined the Toastmasters program for. And this is the reason why we don't start a club without having run a speechcraft program to a corporate company, because we want not strangers to start clubs. We want some speechcrafters who understands the Toastmasters philosophy and how we operate and how the model works, work in them to start clubs so that we don't lose clubs. For 9 long years, from 2003 to 2011, we never lost a single club in this country because of all these initiatives that I'm talking of. So that's, my friends, are some possible things that you can do in your district. Now, what can you do in the next 100 days to actually end the finish line successfully? Another thing that I would like all of you involved, not the club growth director and the district governor, who is, rather in the hot pan at times and really working right round the clock, and sometimes doesn't know which direction to move, but still want to move in all directions. But my humble request is for you to get the non-renewing members list, the last list of your district, which the trio or all the 3 people have access to. Look at that list and get an extended team involved in finding out what happened to that those members who did not renew in the last cycle. I have visited a district in Region 14, and when I landed there in the month of April 24th, or in the 24th of April, in the month of April, end of April, they had already given up wanting to be distinguished. They had, because of, again, the clubs and members was their problem, membership payments was their problem, and worked a lot, and then went into the last item before I left was the non-renewing member list, which they worked and which I recommended 30, that is, they had 30 district officers, that is 30 area, which comprised of area directors, division directors, and district officers, divided a non-renewing member list of about 960 members into 30 people, and do also cross-division members leader list. In other words, Division A members will be called only by Division B officers. Like that, we crossed each other's divisions and roles, and they got that list, and people for the first time was moved from the fact that the district officers called and found out why they have not renewed, how they could benefit out of the program, and district officers saying that please renew, that we will run some interesting programs for you, and we did some fine liners for that. And then you will not believe the hopelessness of distinguished program came alive and showed the possibility of closing distinguished that year. 350 or 400 members, nearly 40% of the membership, non-renewing member list members, joined their clubs once again. And the district governor was in tears when he came to the convention in Vegas. So that, my friends, it's another possibility that you can do. I know District Region 11 districts attract new members. That's not our problem outside North America. Anyway, we attract new members. But it is our problem that we lose members. And for all above said reasons are why we are losing members, because they don't see the value. Please ask yourselves as a district officer, how am I adding value in my membership, in my area, division, district, and clubs? So if value addition is done at all levels, thinking out of the box, based on the skills and requirement of programs set by your members, your districts and your clubs will definitely get strengthened, and your goal, your desired destination, is one that will be full of greatness as you serve your clubs and districts. Thank you. And I will look forward to taking up any questions that you may have in order to strengthen your clubs and districts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DTM Balraj. We will give you a standing ovation after the question and answer session. Now, I would like to ask DTM Akanke to give the questions out and to read out the questions so that our first VP will be addressing the questions.
Okay, right now we actually don't have any questions that have been asked in the window that, except there was one asking if the webinar would be available later offline, and the answer to that is yes. But we do have someone who just raised their hand. Let's go to that person. This is Toastmaster Himmat, who is from District 20, part of the District 20 administration. So let me open their mic. Your mic is open, Toastmaster Himmat. How are you? And thanks for being here. Do you have a question or comment?
Yes, I have a question and a comment to begin with.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Balraj, for this crisp and precise session on membership and growth at the right time. And can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I thanks to technology that at least I can interact with you. Otherwise, it would have been another dream which may not have been realized. And I had been reading your name in all the magazines which I receive every month for last 2 years at least. And my question is, and also a concern, is about the speechcraft and the role of speechcraft which you defined in forming a club, not with strangers, but with the member of the society, knowing everything about Toastmaster before they become a member or charter a club. As far as my knowledge goes, in last 2 years in District 20, I haven't heard of any speechcraft being held and a club being formed. All the clubs had been formed based on one demo meeting. And if I look at the dashboard, the base club until now of this year, we have a negative growth. But if I look at 30th June after 100 days compared to last year, you will find a positive number being added up around 35 to 37 clubs. And this is where the retention issue and the role of speechcraft is not being properly told to everyone, because everyone wants a quick fix solution of one demo meeting. How will you say that we go about telling the leaders, including myself, that we do speechcraft?
Thank you, Hemant. That was a fantastic question and my passionate subject, right? So you need to develop a culture in your district, and then look at the speechcraft program per se, and design a program that will help your companies and communities. By the system and by the policy, only clubs can run speechcraft programs, but district officers are free to get involved because because ultimately they're empowering leaders at all levels. And you're not violating a policy by running a speechcraft for a club and helping a club run a speechcraft program to any company. And then the dues or whatever charges that you may levy on the speechcraft program should definitely go back to a club and no one else, not any individual to touch even a penny. But what happens with that money is that speechcraft money can be used to club members to the club to develop their own members and to subsidize some events, district events, and so on and so forth. The club can decide on wise usage of that money. Now, your negative, as of now, your district is showing negative, and then come June 30th, it is showing a positive growth only because it wants to be distinguished, and this in itself is a good indication that we are starting clubs for the wrong reason.
True.
The negative growth means that you're unable to retain your clubs, and you're adding new clubs. And what I meant by starting clubs to strangers and demo meeting, my humble request, if I had the opportunity to meet up with your district officers at any given time, my humble request, everyone has different ways of doing things, but my humble request wherever I go in the world is not to start clubs with a demo meeting. Very dangerous, very, very dangerous. And I would go one step further. I will run an awareness meeting today, and I've said this in every district that I visited in the world, and I can say it to Region 11. So I'm free to say that, and I'm happy to say that. I will run an awareness meeting to a community or to a corporate, more people, and then run a demo meeting for those people who raise their hands to sign up to be a member of a club. If you're running a demo meeting to people who are not interested in our program, that in itself is a waste of time. Run an awareness meeting to let people know what we do, why we exist, what do we have in the program, what can they discover out of our program, run a program, how much will it cost, and why do we say that it is the most cost-effective way of self-development and growth. Prove all these things and talk about our library, talk about our advanced manuals, talk about 75 different skill sets that you can learn from our advanced programs. and all those things to more and more people, and get them to sign up, and then run a demo meeting, not one. You can run two, and then get them to be democratic in appointing their officers. Then that's another way of handling if you don't go through a speechcraft program. Chances are that if you do two speechcraft programs of 30 people each, run in a manner that to me, speechcraft program is a transformation engine people get into. It's a transformation vehicle they get into. 11 weeks, we have seen magic happening in people. Companies appreciating beyond limits of our efforts and voluntary efforts to upgrade their people with skills. And that way, you will not only impress people or not only convince speech crafters to join the program, you will have decision makers witnessing the growth of their own people whom they knew for 20 years inside the company, now willing to speak up at board meetings, willing to speak up at meetings, and willing to share ideas because of our speechcraft program. That's the power of the speechcraft program. So we need to kindle that power and make use. That's why I said it's a golden nugget. It's a gold mine that we have in the program. So it's going to take some time for you, but if you bring that culture, your district in the future will be so stable, so strong, and will only start clubs for the right reason. And you will see year after year, retention rates going up, your club meetings become energetic and enthusiastic, and your members wanting to be in the program. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Balraj. Like, this speechcraft has really got on to me. I think it is really gold mine as I can perceive, and the way you have taken time to describe it means there is something in it to work upon for the whole of the year. At least I will do that, whatever I can do. Can I ask another question?
I will. If you write to me, if Vicky or Vicky can write to me, and I can send you some speechcraft structure material that I have with me, which we run here, which I have given many districts in the world, and I can just give that to you, but use it and design your own. But I can give you some inputs into what I'm talking in a written format.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And can you also tell me, because I just heard something which is off the track, is 75 skill set, because that's a big number. I also haven't fathomed out what are those 75. Do you have a list of those 75?
What I mean is
the
75 advanced manuals, 5 projects. And
okay,
when you tell the corporate world, you join the Toastmasters program. I have done 13 out of the 15 manuals now a month. So I have learned 65 sets. So
okay, now I got it.
Each project is a new skill that we learn. If we are serious in preparation, if we prepared half an hour before coming to the meeting, then we will not learn any skills. But if we prepare 2 weeks prior, doing our research and find that out and do a serious project and meaningful project, that's a skill set that we learn. Because if you take the advanced manuals, if you take the interpretive reading, 5 readings are uniquely different to one another.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Hemant, for your questions. And now I'm going to go to Toastmaster Ali Shabazz. I'm going to open your mic. Your mic is open now, Toastmaster Ali. How are you, and what is your question or your comment? Toastmaster Ali, your mic is open. I think you may have muted yourself on your side, so unmute yourself, and I'll come back to you when you're ready, okay?
Okay.
Oh, no, you're there. Okay,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Balraj. This is Ali Shahbaz Ali from District 20. Balraj, I missed the first 15-20 minutes of the presentation of the webinar today. My question revolves around open house. Are there any specific tools, techniques we can use for open house? Because normally what we see here in District 20, we conduct open house, welcome people from the public, and give them some flyers, a few clubs sitting there talking about them, just about their clubs specifically. So any tools, any techniques which could help us make the best out of open houses?
My take on that, Avi, is that open house is a great opportunity not to be missed. And if we lose the impact of an open house, we have lost a great opportunity. So investing the right people and structuring a program to any open house will definitely do good to you, because whether you get a club out of it or not, when you speak to 100 people, chances are that 30% of them will join existing clubs, and that will strengthen your districts. And what the structure of open house is, one, when I go into an open house, I do not go empty-handed. I have a display table. I have a structured program for minimum 75 minutes with some different speakers, and if you have some names attached to it, or it's good, it's going to do fantastic. I will get one corporate leader who swears by our program and whose company has benefited the most. And if we have done a corporate recognition to them, I will get one of them to come and address the open house for just 5 to 7 minutes if they have the time, for about 15 minutes, anything between 10 and 15 minutes, to share their input into realizing the benefits of the Toastmasters program in their companies. When someone from the corporate world, name known, or anyone who is recognized by the society, when they talk of our program, it is 4 times more impactful than we talking of our program. So you have to design an open house structure and get the maximum benefit out of it, and then leave the open house for some question and answers. And it is very important to somehow hold them back after the official ceremony of the open house, and to interact with one another. But it all depends on how successfully they have enjoyed, or how thoroughly and how usefully, how meaningfully they have enjoyed the open house is the only reason why they will stay back for some questions and for some fellowship, which will then give you the necessary take home from an open house. If you want more advice on this, you write to me, or get Vicky to send me a note, and I will send you some more ideas. And if I have agenda of an open house recently run, I can share that with you. Hope that was helpful.
Okay, thank you so much for your question, Toastmaster Ali. And now we're going to go to DTM Ed Moore, who has his hand raised and has typed a question in the question box. I'll open your mic, DTM Ed Moore from District 74. Your mic is open. Go ahead with your question or your comment. DTM Moore, your mic is open on my side. You may need to unmute yourself on your side. While you work that out, I'm going to go to another attendee, Toastmaster Costa. I'm going to open your mic now. Your mic is open. Do you have a question or comment?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Yes, what is your question or your comment?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good evening, DTM Balraj. This is Klita from Oman, from District 20, Upload Director. Actually, we have conducted some of the speechcraft, but not publicly, because especially in Oman, we are not allowed to do publicity about Toastmasters. But regarding the open houses also, only the word of mouth, and even the demonstration meetings, there are conducted 2 or 3 or sometimes more than that before we make a club. But sometimes due to we can't go public, we are losing the members. So anything we can do about it when we can't do it publicly.
Okay, I also want to just remind us of the time. We have 5 minutes left in this session, so we want to utilize that as best we can. DTM Balraj, you want to answer her question? Thank you for your question, Mr. Costa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the only way that you can do is to do private circulation and get the members to come to club meetings or where you can interact with them. And maybe we have to have a private discussion on that, and I can give you some ideas how to do this club growth director of District 20. So that needs a little bit of understanding on my part to be able to give you the correct advice. And Vicky and you, Vicky, you and me can have a Skype conversation later, and we'll find a way to handle that problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go to Toastmaster Alexander Thomas. Your mic is open. Do you have a question or comment? A quick question or comment? Okay. You may want to try to unmute yourself. Let me go to some of the questions that were asked in the question window. Okay, from DTM Edmore, his question is, actually he's off the session now, so let me go to someone who asked the question that's still on the session. Let me just see here 1 second. Okay, Toastmaster Alexander is saying, would it be possible to get one of your sample presentations regarding open house? So I think you already said that. So you could give us your email address, DTM Balraj, so that we could make sure people know how to contact you. Let's see if there's another question. We are 100 days from June 30th. What is the focal actions for club and member growth? I think you mentioned that already. Is there some way you can summarize it quickly? That's from DTM Edmore. What should the focus be for the next 100 days for membership growth?
First, thank you. And first to understand the challenges that they have, and then draw out a plan and have a 100-day plan, and pick up those nuggets that are the points that I mentioned, and do a workable plan and implement plan with the team and not alone, because 100 days requires teamwork, and get everyone involved in the district to draw out a plan that is workable, and then the leaders to see that it is implemented, monitored, and so that monitor progress, so that the finish line will be of a fruitful one.
Okay, thank you for the answer. DTM Vicky, we have 1 minute left. Should I turn it back over to you now? We do have some very nice comments in the in the question box from the attendees. They're thanking you all for this presentation and saying that it was very valuable, and made some other responses to some of the information that DTM Balraj has shared with us. So everyone has enjoyed it, and I'll turn it back over to you now, DTM Vicky. We don't have any hands raised right now, so it's
okay.
Complete. Oh, I forgot to do the polls. Wow.
Yes. Can we have the poll, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. I was trying to manage all the lots of comments and questions. Sure. Let's go to one poll. It says, in what leadership capacity do you currently serve? Our attendees, you have 15 seconds to respond to this poll. In what leadership capacity do you currently serve? And 33% of our attendees have voted. 60%, 67, and we're going to close it in 3 seconds. All right, 80% voted. We're going to close it and share the results now. Great. So 75% of our attendees are part of the district ExCom leadership, and equally 8% are club leaders, area director, or division director. Awesome. So I'm going to hide that polling results. DTM Vicky, would you like for me to do the other one about the gender?
Yes, please. Okay. Very quickly, sure. And then probably we will give the announcement before we close.
Okay. All right. One more poll coming towards you now. Are you a male or female leader? select one of the following. And you'll have 10 seconds more. 40% have voted. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to close the poll now and share the results. 55% male. Oops, I put leader. What is that? I'm sorry. 55% male and 45% female. I apologize for that. Okay, great.
Okay.
So that's interesting. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much, DTM Akanke. First of all, I would like to thank our first Vice President Balraj Arunasalam. You know that I am one of your greatest fans, and I really love the valuable recommendations that you have given. For us, this is really breaking news. Why? Because you have given us solid recommendations that are really practical and that can be made use of. These are golden nuggets, and we will never ever forget the golden nuggets. I'm sure that it will live on for the next coming years for our leaders. That's why I had actually asked the club leaders, area leaders, and division leaders to join our webinar tonight so that they could hear whatever wow factors that you are going to recommend to us. So thank you so much. And to our participants, let's give him a standing ovation. Can you please all stand up from your chairs and give a standing ovation for our first Vice President Balraj Arunasalam?
Awesome, awesome,
And
awesome.
thank you also District 79 under the leadership of District Director Abdul Al Sharif, and of course our very charming webinar chair Akanke Abdul Khalik. Thank you so much for lending Region 11 your facilities. Thank you DTM Akanke for assisting us with all your heart.
My
And
pleasure.
most of all, thank you. And most of all, thank you to those who made time to listen and participate. By the way, as DTM Akanke mentioned, the webinar will be recorded for those who were unable to attend. Until the next time, good night, everyone. DTM Balraj, would you like to
Thank
have
you.
a few concluding words?
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, and thank you for that effort. And you have been behind this webinar for the last probably 3-4 months. And you were following up from the time that I got, or rather, after we met in Vegas. You have been tracking me from my whereabouts whenever I went out. And thank you for keeping me under watch, and then somehow or other getting to this webinar today. It was a pleasure sharing my insight and thoughts with you. It was a great opportunity to meet with all of you. Thank you, and wish you all the best. And as you close to 100-day finish line.
Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
sir. Thank you so much. Let us help spread the Toastmasters mission through membership payments, club, and membership growth. Happy Toastmastering and good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.